Hello, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm doing a part 2 Q&A where I answer the other 8 questions that I wasn't able to answer in the part 1. And since recording my last Q&A video, I've gone up 17 subscribers, so thank you very much for all those new people that subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's get into it and start answering those questions. So the first question is from Max, and he asks, what does yellowing on pot plant leaves mean, and what should I do? I can give you some tips. For example, it's much more easy to overwater your plant than it is to underwater it. So make sure that you have a regular watering schedule, maybe like once a week, every week, no more, no less, and that's good. Or if the pot is too small, that could be causing it to die as it needs more space for the roots to expand. So you could try that. Or if you look on the leaves and there's a clear sign of like a fungal disease or pests, then you can get special sprays that will either kill pests or get rid of fungal diseases. And fungal diseases and pests, they can look like little white things, and they can sometimes be on the underside of the leaves, causing the tops to go yellow. Or it could just be a lack of water causing them to go yellow. Or it could be if they're in too direct sunlight and they don't want direct sunlight, you could maybe move them to other locations. But I've put links in the description down below of books that are very good in just pot plants and how to care for them. So you can have a look at them, and also for sprays regarding natural sprays regarding getting rid of pests or fungal diseases. So go and have a look at them because that will go more into depth and answer your question better. Thank you. So the next question is from Nelly, and she asks, how long have you been doing gardening? And really, I've been gardening ever since I was about 6 or 7 or 8, around about then. But I grew quite a lot of vegetables, especially like marrows and potatoes and sunflowers. So I grew some really big ones when I was like 9, 8, 9 and 10. But then this year is the first year that I've properly gone into it and gotten some really good results, as well as gone in with all the factual knowledge and stuff. So yeah, basically a few years in total probably. Thank you. So the next question is from Manny, and he asks, what are your tips on growing carrots to their full potential? And honestly, I just have 2 main tips to give you. Firstly, make sure that your soil doesn't have lots of stones in it, so it's quite fine soil, because otherwise when the carrots grow down, they'll be all wonky shaped and have like loops in them, and they just won't look normal, which can be good, but they might not grow as big either. And then secondly, if it when you're watering, don't water it like every day or every other day or as much as you would other plants, because you want the roots to try and grow as far down into the ground as possible, and they'll do that if you don't water it because they'll be searching deeper down for water. So just water them maybe like once every 3 days or 4 days or 5 days, depending on how super dry it is, and that will just help them to grow further down and get bigger than if you watered them constantly, so that the roots never had to grow very far down. Thank you. The next question is from Izzy and Neve, and they ask, what's the best weather for a bean plant to grow in? And really, beans are fairly hardy, so they grow well in hot conditions, though not super hot, and they grow hot in wet conditions, and they can be in high winds, though you'd probably have to support them with bamboo canes. And you get special winter varieties which you can plant in autumn and winter. They can survive harsher conditions like snow and maybe frosts. And then you have normal bean varieties which you'll plant in like April, March, May, and then harvest in the summer. So I hope that answers your question roughly. Thank you. The next question is from David, and he asks, do you use pesticides, and if so, are they more synthetic or organic? And mostly with my plants, I try to just let them do their own thing and let nature help them. However, if there was suddenly a really big problem with either pests or with fungal diseases, then I might use an organic bug killer or fungal killer. But I never use synthetic stuff because it can be quite poisonous for you if you have too much of it, and I'm trying to keep my vegetables as natural and nice as possible. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. The next question is from Moonbenge, and he asks, what advice would you give to someone who has started gardening? And if that be gardening just like generally, then I would say do what you want to do and make sure you're bringing enjoyment out of it, not a strain that you don't really want to do. That's a really important thing. And sometimes you will have to do things that maybe not as fun as others, like weeding and clearing up leaves and things like that. But then by doing that, you can get brilliant results with other things like planting. And then if you're going to be doing like vegetable gardening, then I would say grow things that you're excited for, and even if you haven't grown them before, it can be exciting to try new things. So give it a go, and even if it fails, then that's okay, because you can just try again next year with the same thing or with other things. And yeah, just try and enjoy yourself and try your hardest and make sure it's not something that you're not looking forward to doing, and you should do well. Hope that answered your question. Thank you. The next question is from Dibu, and he asks, how can you regulate the pH of soil to optimize plant growth? And if you want to raise the pH of your soil, then this can be done by putting ground limestone into the soil, like the top 6 inches, and then that should help to raise the pH. And then if you want to lower the pH of your soil, then if it's a small area, you can use coffee or vinegar. But if your garden or area that you want to change is larger, then it's better to use elemental sulfur or aluminium sulfate, or iron sulfate is usually the best. And you can order these online or go to your nearest garden centre, and they'll probably have these things. And if you don't know what your pH is, and for example you're getting some plants that need a certain pH, you can get little devices that you can put into the ground, and they'll instantly tell you what the pH of your soil is, and you can reuse them over and over again, so they're really helpful. So I'll put a link in the description of where you can get one of them if you want it. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. And the final question is from Arthur, and he asks, how do you protect against bugs eating your plants? And there are lots of different methods depending on what the plant is. For example, with kale and cabbages, you can cover them with netting, though I'm going to refrain from doing that because I don't really want to have to take the netting on and off every time I get to the plants. And then with broad beans, when they get quite big and they're being threatened by black fly, you can chop off the little tops, and that will hopefully stop black fly or other flies from settling in the tops of them and eating the fleshy bits and poisoning your plants. And then if there does get an infestation, I then use neem oil sprays like I showed in some of the earlier answers to questions. And yeah, you can get, for example, if you've got lots of green fly attacking, you could try and find some ladybirds and put them on your plants, and then they'd eat all the green fly. So that would be quite a good organic way, though that might be quite difficult. Just look up online how you can try and stop pests before they get to your plants, depending on what plants you're growing. And yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry that this video has taken quite a while to come out, but it's just been quite a busy week. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It was quite good answering the other 8 questions. You all asked very good questions, so well done on that. And I'll be bringing out another video next week, so you can look out for that. And please like and subscribe and comment anything you want down below. And yeah, thank you, and see you next time. Goodbye.